Hello YouTube! This is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another daily Blizzard upload. This is a 2v2 match on the ladder with me and a friend against, I assume, two other friends that know each other because they have a PHX in their names, which means they are in the same group, which means I think they know each other, but I could be wrong. This is a ZVZ. This is Turd Ferguson, a friend of mine I just started playing with. And this is Falcon, this is me. So it's a ZVZ versus a Protoss. This is Rareen and a Terran player. This is Tyr. Now Rareen expresses some concerns that we might 6-pool him, which is something that does happen a lot in 2v2 games. You'll see two Zerg players just go really early lings. One early pool against a Zerg player can be hard enough to handle on its own, but if you see two coming your way, especially if it's on a map like this that doesn't have a super long rush distance, even if you do have another player to help you, it just can be a nightmare to deal with. There is a lot of cheesing in 2v2 battles, which is just where you'll get a lot of early units out or some cannon rushes and things, and so people are cognizant of this is a problem, and so they will definitely watch out for it in this type of game. So we're going to speed things up a little bit here. Not much happens in the early game, just people are macroing up, they're walling off their front against those Zerglings that we said are not coming, but they didn't quite trust us, which I don't blame them for. And Turd Ferguson very nicely allowed me to have this natural inside our base. There is a single ramp up into where we live, and a single natural that is available for both of us to fight over. He immediately just said, you know what, Falcon, you go ahead and take it. I'll expand over to the east here, far, far away, which can be scary, especially as a Zerg player. To have to defend this and this, which is wide open, can be super dangerous. And so he was the nice guy. He took this base, and we're going to hope the other team doesn't see it too soon. We are scouting around a little bit, checking out what's going on. I'm sending an Overlord through. I do see some gateways, a cybernetics core. Not much boosting going down on the Nexus here. So I said maybe it's a 4-gate, because it might be saving the chrono boost for his cybernetics core to get the warp gate out as soon as possible. But apparently, yep, there goes the warp gate. The Terran's on 1 gas. The Terran has a barracks up with a reactor, so we're just going to see a lot of Marines from him and a forge going down for the Protoss player, likely just for defense. I assume they've played against two Zergs before. They know there can be some early attacks from Zerglings, and they are just ready for that as best as they can. This bunker is a good position. I believe this is walled off, assuming the supply depot is up. And so we just see them worried about a flood of lings coming at 5 minutes into the game. But there are some lings from Turd Ferguson, but I am just interested in macroing at this point. I am getting my lair. I am getting a roach warren, because I know roaches are just generally good in this type of a game. Roaches are good support units with whatever your teammate is planning on doing. So that's what my current plan is. The Zerglings are running around, scouting out for something, maybe looking for this Reaper that's hiding by these rocks, and he does survive because he's not seen. So well done. Way to go. Way to hide out there, Mr. Reaper guy. You do your thing. Turd Ferguson is upgrading to a lair as well. Meanwhile, back at the Protoss and Terran base, we have some Immortals coming out. Double robotics facility for 2 Immortals coming out at a time, which really counters my roaches pretty hard. I don't know if I see this yet, but I am still making drones. Haven't quite taken my gas at my expansion yet. I don't need too much gas for a roach army, but at this point our entire army is these Zerglings. So if there's a push out from these Marines and these Immortals and Stalkers, we might be okay to handle it, but we need to scout and do a good job of seeing what's coming. Marauders being made from Tyr, a Changeling being immediately killed by the other team. So that's kind of a problem that way for our scouting Zerg teammate Turd Ferguson. 2 Overseers. I am worried about Dark Templars coming in. I'm worried about Overseers checking us out. This Overseer for Turd Ferguson trying to run around, scout out their base. He does see a pylon being built, and that's about it. So not much to see there. This army is a few Marauders, bunch of Marines, a whole bunch of Immortals and Stalkers. No upgrades going down on the Forge. I do have an Evolution Chamber, but it looks like I'm not getting any upgrades either at this point. I'm just macroing, trying to get both of these bases saturated as quickly as possible. Rareen is still on 1 base, but Tyr does have 2 bases. So a 2-base Terran with a 1-base Protoss, not super strong. Turd Ferguson recognizes the presence of the Immortals. Meanwhile, he is going to go Mutalisks. And so you'll notice he has a flock of Mutas here. And maybe you'll slow down the game just a little bit to faster, as I think we're going to get some action here fairly soon. You know, maybe not. Let's speed it up. My roaches are here, my overseers are here. I take a third base far out to the west. Again, this is unprotected and difficult to defend if there is an attack on it. A drop coming down from Tyr. We'll follow this drop, as I think he's just trying to go into our main and accidentally flies over the presence. Oh, no, he knows what's going on. He does scout out Turd Ferguson's third base. His Marines are unloading. They probably should stim here. They do have the stim pack upgrade. But not quite yet. The hatchery is slowly going down. There, the stim goes down. Now the hatchery is starting to go down a lot, and it does get cancelled at the last second by Turd Ferguson. So good timing there. The Mutalisks come in, take down a wayward Marine who got left by his buddies, and they're going to chase this flying medevac back home. Going to try to kill it before it can escape. One peels off to take that down, and now the Mutalisk harass will begin. The Mutas get right into the mineral line of Tyr, taking down several SCVs. 2, 4, 6, 10, at least 10 SCVs dying here before the Marines can respond. Mutalisks just fly away. They're not too concerned about this. Getting into the second mineral line up the main base, killing more SCVs, just crippling the economy. I see this and I say maybe we should go mass Muta. There's a lot of Marauders. They don't have any turrets up in their base, in their mineral line to prevent against this, which is a fairly rookie mistake. Something that you don't see very much in the higher levels of play, obviously. Mutalisks come in again. At this point, they're not doing too much more harassment. They're just keeping the Terran army in the base, which allows us to get up as many attacks, or as many workers as we can, as many bases as we can. Mutalisks fly on in there, but this group of Stalkers and a cannon is enough to chase them away. So we are keeping the Protoss and Terran armies in their base, which is good for us as Zerg players. We want as much time to get up these third bases, to defend against drops that we see coming our way. And Turd Ferguson says, I did some good damage. They might counter, which is something you see in 2v2 games. If there's been a lot of damage to the economy, then they might just say, alright, we attack now or never. We're going to fall more and more behind in the economy if we don't attack, so they decide to do so. Meanwhile, Protoss finally expands. Marine gets a base over here. It is not very saturated at all, though. You have to worry about his economy, as it looks like his mineral patches are starting to run out. Yeah, 350, 200 minerals left on each of these patches. This will be out in just a few minutes. And I say, alright, well, I will go Swarm Host then, and we'll push the front door. So, I'm going to speed this back up a little bit. You'll notice my Swarm Hosts are out, Roaches are out, Zerglings are out, Mutalisks flying around. They do take down this third base for Protoss, and there's not much Protoss can do. We start pushing out with the Swarm Hosts up the middle across this zigzag path to get up to the enemy base. Some more harassment, but the Marines are responding. The Marines have 1-1 now, and Stim, which makes them a little bit more scary for that Mutaflock. A Thor comes down too, which is great. And here I go, planting my Swarm Hosts with the Enduring Locust upgrade on the way, I do believe. And here they go. Locusts marching right on up the front door. There is a good amount of Colossus here. 2 Colossus with no upgrades, but they are melting the Locusts as much as they can. But as always, Locusts are free units, and so any damage they do is essentially just gravy. Taking down a supply depot, taking down a bunker. Some Mutalisks fly in to take down some Vikings that are responding to this harassment. A tank going on the high ground. Thor getting some hits off. Mutalisk clumping up, taking some damage from those Thors. Let's not do you too eager there, Turd Ferguson. But the Locusts are attacking. They're focusing down an Immortal now. And they're not quite able to get it. The entire combined army of Terran and Protoss is here at the top of the ramp. They are just creating a choke point of death for this constant stream of Locusts. And slowly pushing down, getting closer and closer to my Swarm Hosts. My Roaches move in, trying to slow things down. But they just get melted by these Immortals, by these Marauders. Probably not a good choice by me. Even with the 2-2, the Roach just melts with this composition. Locusts are taking down some units at the front here. They're slowly chipping away at this force. It is not a whole lot, but it might be enough to hold them in their base. No, they pop out. They start taking down Swarm Hosts that have pushed a little bit too close. The scan goes down. Swarm Hosts are dying. 1, 2, 3 Swarm Hosts go down, and I'm recognizing, alright, it's time to get out of here. Another Swarm Host at the front dies. I pop up and try to escape. Swarm Hosts are not very fast. You'll notice 2 or 3 of them at the back just get taken down immediately. I pop down. burrow down, get off another bunch of swarm hosts just to delay the chase from this army and head back to my base. Turd Ferguson says, uh-oh, this looks like a composition that's going to do really well against our Mutalisks and our swarm hosts. We may be in trouble here. Overseer trying to escape with 3 hit points, flying over an area that ground units cannot go, but eventually does get sniped off by the Stalker, and he will not report anything else back to the Overlord and the Overmother. Turd Ferguson says, I'll pick up some Banelings. My swarm hosts are here at the bottom of the ramp. They're going to pop out some Locusts and try to take down these Stalkers that are trying to come into our base, and they do. The Stalkers die mostly because they're on move command. A random Colossus comes up the cliff, gets chased down on into the Zerg base by these Locusts who surround it, but Colossus are faster than Locusts. I think that depends on if they're in creep or not. It's hard to tell here. Queen chasing off this Colossus, doing some harassment. These Locusts coming right on into a Marine Marauder Thor army from Terran. Again, they're not fantastically effective, but any units they can kill here is just exactly what I need to delay and to whittle down the Terran army some. The Colossus doing some harassment, moving up and down the cliff, killing these Zerglings, making them come back down. Again, these are slow Zerglings. I haven't upgraded them at all, which is kind of embarrassing. His buddy Colossus comes in, takes down the Zerglings, takes down the Queen. All of my attacking units are gone. And now they start in on the workers. I'm pretty much focused on keeping this swarm host alive, but I say, alright, let's move the swarm host down to this third base. Maybe they'll be enough to take down the Colossus, because I don't have anything else at this point. My entire army is basically swarm hosts. The Locusts are getting a little mixed up on their pathing here. Chasing the Colossus down. Are they fast enough to catch them? No! They all expire before they can get a single hit off on the Colossus. Unfortunately, another group comes down, but I think the same thing's going to happen to them. And they do focus down a Thor. A small drop here dies to all of these swarm hosts. Some of them do get picked up in the medevac. They're going to try to find another soft spot to attack. And they wait till the Locusts expire and then move on down. This Thor only has 36 hit points though. But the remaining Marines and Marauders are enough to do a lot of damage to my mineral line. Workers are dying everywhere. And it looks like this hatchery is not long for the world. Will my Locusts get there in time to save it? And the answer is no, they expire too soon. Everybody gets picked up by the medevacs, and the medevacs will head out to see who else they can harass. More slowlings coming along. I don't know why I haven't upgraded speed yet, but it's kind of embarrassing. A drop on the high ground here with this Thor, with these Marines. The Thor has 39 kills, but the Banelings from Turd Ferguson show up just in time, eradicating this entire push. And my Spore Crawler does enough damage to a medevac to kill one, bring one down to 3 hit points. Another drop going down here. Oh, just an attack from these Immortals and these Stalkers, trying to take down the third base of Turd Ferguson. And they are managing to do so very quickly. Immortals are great against buildings, and that third base goes down. While all this attacking has been going on, it would be more effective, I think, for Marine and Tyr to actually expand while we're on our heels like this. But they chose not to expand here, or anywhere else on the map. You'll notice there are no bases. Marine essentially has no income left. He has 395 minerals, and that's it. Not even enough for another Nexus. The Baneling and Zergling and Mutalisk army comes in and wipes out this army of Protoss before it can take it down to the second base. So again, we're not doing so well ourselves for economy, but at least we have 2 bases each. Whereas the Terran and Protoss players, between them, have 1 mining base. So a little scary for them. Some Widowmine action coming on in from Protoss. We have some Vikings, which are not a great response to Mutalisks, unfortunately. Although there aren't many, so they could be able to clean them up, depending on the angle of attack and if there's any good kiting involved. I'm just going to speed up a little bit here again, because it looks like we're just roaming around, scouting out, trying to make sure they don't have any bases we don't know about. You're recognizing the Zergling army, checking all of the available expansions to make sure there's nothing they're sneaking behind our back. And I say, are they starved? And Turd Ferguson says, yeah, I think they are. They just don't have any income. So we set up on the front door with our swarm hosts again, trying the same thing. Widowmines going off. Widowmines, again, their attacks are free. They are in real no danger from these Locusts because of the Vikings denying Overseer approaches. So the Locusts are coming up, caught at a terrible angle again, just getting destroyed by these 2-2 Marauders. Vikings flying over, seeing there's nobody here really to fight. There's nobody on the ground, or nobody in the air. They don't want to go into ground mode because these Banelings will destroy them. So many Banelings from me and from Mr. Ferguson. More Swarm Horse going in with the +3/+3 upgrade at this point. Yep, yes, the Locusts have 3 defense and 2 attack. And Marine says, "You guys gonna Baneling bust us?" And we say, "I don't know, maybe." And Turd says, "There are Widow Mines at the door." And I say, "Let me get some Overseers to take care of those Widow Mines. Because if we run up with too many Banelings and these Widow Mines gets hits off, it will take out so many of the Banelings and put us on our back feet once again. Which is not something we're interested in." Marine says, "Attack now, get in there now." And I'm not sure if he wants to end the game soon or what, but he recognizes they are being starved out slowly. We have a lot of Banelings, and here come the Banelings as we zoom out for this attack. Banelings come in, Widow Mines are ready to yes, and the Widow Mines discharge perfectly to kill so many Banelings. But the splash damage takes themselves out as well. So one last effort from them, heroic in taking out as many Banelings as possible, but it's not enough. Banelings are flying through, killing workers. They are not defaulted to attack buildings, so they're not going to do that. We don't need to attack any buildings at this point, but getting workers down is important. We follow it up with some locusts, who are unfortunately rallied to a place that is not super useful for them to be. They just hang out until they die. Now we do have some Overseers coming in, but the Vikings are taking them down. Tyr's getting his revenge as well as he can. More Banelings coming in, wiping out a photon cannon. And another cannon goes down. And my teammate says, "Are there any expos? Let's look for those." I don't think we see any, but the rest of the game is just hunting down buildings. There's nothing left for either of these players. I just think 2v2 games are really interesting to watch because you'll see combinations of units you don't see normally in 1v1. So this has been Falcon Paladin. If you enjoyed what you saw here, hit that like button, hit subscribe. I do upload daily Blizzard videos every single day. And you can also visit me on Twitter at twitter.com/Falcon Paladin. One of my buddies messages me. And until next time, you take care of yourself.